Very good.
Oh,
Aha.
yeah.
It is time. Collecturbation this week. An absolute classic. The first Michael Schenker album from 1980. Now, to say 1980 was an important year for hard rock and heavy metal is kind of an understatement. It's like saying Chris Christie enjoys an occasional burger. Now, while the intelligent, quote unquote, in little quoties, while the intelligent rock critics associated with the cult of Lester Bangs will insist that punk killed it in the late 70s, nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, there are so many interesting grails to discuss from 1980. You could do not just an episode, but an entire podcast on the phenomenon that was this amazing year. Back in Black, Ace of Spades, Permanent Waves, Blizzard of Oz, the first Def Leppard, the first Iron Maiden, even the lesser known releases from bands like Gillian, Girl School, and Budgie are all worthy of endless discussion. So impressed as we all were that you found your way into that Sex Pistols gig in Manchester before they splintered, your assessment of their importance may be a bit premature.
This was the era of the guitar solo. Rock fans couldn't get enough of them. Older statesmen from the psych and blues era were all showing their chops. Gary Moore, Ronnie Montrose, Frank Marino, Bernie Marsden, and some Dutch kid from SoCal called Eddie. And of course, Michael Schenker. At this point, he had already contributed one of the wildest heavy psych performances of all time on the Scorpions' Lonesome Crow debut. He was 16. His screeching solos and songwriting chops lit a fire under no less than 5 UFO albums from 1974 to 78, inspiring hordes of rock fans the world over to learn the guitar. The iconic silhouette of that flowing blonde hair and the flying V is still one of metal's most iconic images.
By the late 1970s, Schenker had parted ways with UFO, and after a brief flirtation with his alma mater in the form of the Scorpions' Love Drive Sessions in 1979, an album he is apparently still bitter about, the liner notes written by brother Rudy, he decided to launch his solo career in earnest. He claims to have been approached by Purple, Lizzy, Aerosmith, Ozzy, and Motorhead around this time and turned all of them down. He discovered relatively unknown singer Gary Barden via a demo of his band Fraser Nash, and the two immediately began crafting songs together. These 9 songs are near perfect specimens of where hard rock was headed in the early 1980s. Every song is built on a strong riff, a singer that can belt out lines like, "Is it hard enough? Is it long enough?" with plenty of charisma and zero irony whatsoever. There's something about the intro to Cry for the Nations that seems like a precursor for fellow German Accept's Fast as a Shark that would come years later. Basically, it's got a cheesy Muzak-esque intro that plays for a few bars, and then you hear kind of a bomb drop before a vicious riff from Michael Schenker takes over. It slices through everything, and Barden's voice sounds magnificent over it. And visions of waters be true. It's better than it needs to be because you know Schenker's lead is going to be absolutely glorious, and it is. Such talent, especially considering Schenker was on everything but roller skates at this point in his career. Let's play a little bit of Cry for the Nations.
All is then revealed, and visions of water speak true. Cry for the nations. Cry for the nations. A flash of light reveals.
Okay, a word about producer Roger Glover, the ex Deep Purple bassist. I never really cared for the production job he did on Judas Priest Sin After Sin, but I guess he had honed his chops over the 3 year period, fiddling with Barbie Benton and Young and Moody.
The production doesn't sound dated at all. Schenker's riff tone a consistent knife edge. Barden's layered vocals are warm and melodic, and future Toto Stickman's Simon Phillips' bass and snare tones are enviably smooth. Check out the intro to Feels Like a Good Thing, for example. In 1980, instrumentals were far from the Antichrist they are today, and the two included here are very different and very interesting. Bayou Pleasurette, what a title! Is a piece quite adjacent to classical music. Beds of clean electric and acoustics offering a canvas for Schenker to whittle, diddle, and harmonize with himself like he doesn't even know you were watching. Then there's Into the Arena. My God, that riff. I'm sure when he came up with it, The first instinct was, I'm keeping this one, no vocals.
Yeah, I'm keeping it no vocals.
And it works marvelously. Schenker riffing savagely with just a waft of keyboard melody and plenty of room for him to wail away with lead after lead that could convince you to forget the guitar and go back to dental school.
We don't need a singer. I'll close, as Schenker does, with the epic finale, the glorious Eastern tinge beauty of the 7+ minute classic Lost Horizons. That slow burn tempo, those chilling vocals. Was this the best song he ever wrote? Quite possibly. Who hasn't belted out, "Can you see me now? Can you feel the pain? Can you heal the scars on me?" with several like-minded friends at 4 a.m. while trying to reconstruct the Eiffel Tower with empty beer cans? Oh, come on, we've all been there. At any rate, there's a reason why every metal guitar player composed of molecules has played on some kind of Michael Schenker tribute album. This album alone is enough to prove his stellar talents, and while the Michael Schenker Group would have its ups and downs over the years, he has successfully delivered on air of quality and stellar musicianship with the Scorpions, UFO, and his own solo band. Plus, that man gives interviews that will just take your breath away. I mean, you got to check some of them out on YouTube. So let's hear a little Lost Horizons.
My mind is searching for reasons why. Had time to leave or die. If we had now what we had then, lost horizons might be torn again. Can you see me now? Can you feel the pain? Can you heal the scars on me?
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.